Hello, and welcome to another edition of Minds on the Markets. I'm Steve Kussin, and in this groundbreaking series, we take teachers and students to the business and financial capitals of the world. Today, we're in Melville, New York, at the headquarters of Henry Schein, and our guest is Keith Drayer. Keith, thank you for having us, and could you tell us a little bit about Henry Schein?
Thanks for coming, Steve. Henry Schein, we're the world's largest provider of healthcare products and services to office-based healthcare practitioners. This is dentists, physicians, and veterinarians. We supply everything within the four walls of a practice. This includes supplies, equipment, technology, and value-added services. We're an 80-year-old company, a public company, a member of the NASDAQ, and a member of the NASDAQ 100. We help practitioners treat their practice like a business so they can focus on quality care to their patients.
Keith, in your description of the company, you described value-added solutions. What exactly does that term mean?
That means we can offer comprehensive services above and beyond getting product to our customers. We can help customers design an office, finance that office, host their website, even use social media so they can market their practice to more patients.
Keith, you mentioned that Henry Schein is a publicly traded company. What dictates whether a company goes public or private?
For Henry Schein, it was the right decision in 1995 when we went public to access the capital markets. By doing so, this helped fuel our growth, so we were able to go public and then grow our sales from $600 million to more than $8.5 billion by being a public company.
What then are the advantages and disadvantages of going public versus remaining private?
There are pros and cons of going public versus private. But going public allows you to access capital markets that smaller or privately held companies do not have.
You mentioned that Henry Schein appears on the NASDAQ. What governs the decision on which exchange a stock will appear?
What is attractive about the NASDAQ is there are growing companies like Henry Schein that we like to be associated with. Today, we're in 26 countries as a company, but there are so many growth opportunities for Henry Schein. An exchange with growth-minded companies on the NASDAQ is where we want to be.
Keith, what exactly is your role at Henry Schein?
I have the privilege of leading Henry Schein Financial Services. We provide business solutions to our customer base of dentists, physicians, veterinarians. We can help them start that first practice or even buy a practice. We offer really a suite of services, of best-in-class services that range from equipment financing to even our own Henry Schein branded credit card.
What specifically does Henry Schein do for its clients? Let's take a specific case study. Remember, you're talking to an English major. Suppose I graduated from dental school and wanted to open a dental practice. Exactly what would Henry Schein do for me?
Well, first of all, going to college and dental school is really expensive. Students today are graduating with record numbers of large amounts of debt. Though, the good news is they still are able to get money to finance or start that first practice regardless of their debt levels, because knowledgeable lenders like Henry Schein Financial Services, we know dentists, we know dentistry, and we know over the long haul dentists are going to be successful. Though everybody, regardless of what you do, you really need to make sure you maintain good credit and you don't strike out before you get up to bat.
Strike out before they even get up to bat. What does that mean?
Let's start with this. We all have a credit bureau. If we've ever applied for a loan, applied for a credit card, or insurance, there's a credit bureau on all of us. It helps lenders make a decision if they're going to give us a loan or not. That information contains things in the file of not only where we live, but the important things, how we pay our bills. A lender is going to look at that before making the decision simply to give you a loan or not.
Some advice for our young people. How can they go about building up good credit scores? And do you have any advice about credit cards in general?
Obtaining a credit card is really inevitable in this day and age, though there's some things that you should know and should practice to help you with those credit cards and your credit scores. For instance, when you get those credit cards, make sure you pay them punctually. Make sure you keep the balance below the maximum amount of the credit line. And also, when you're either on a college campus or elsewhere in life, there are so many opportunities to obtain a credit card. Some credit card companies will tempt you with a free offer. On a college campus, it could be a Frisbee. But getting that wrong credit card could make that Frisbee the most expensive Frisbee you'll ever have.
Keith, do you have any advice for those considering a career in business? What should they be doing now and in the future to prepare?
Whatever you do, you have to be passionate about it. You have to follow your interests genuinely. There are so many examples that you can look at who either didn't have a straight road to success, or there are individuals who are billionaires today that were in your shoes, when they were your age, that they didn't know what they were doing, that they ended up really successful. They were persistent. There's Sam Walton, who started Walmart, but yet he had a few retail ventures that flopped. There's Steve Jobs, there's Bill Gates, there's the Beatles. They're all successful visionaries, but they weren't always that way. They were all persistent, and they all didn't let failure get in their way. They tried, it didn't work, they tried again. They were persistent, and that's what their true legend is all about. There are lots of opportunities if you're going to take risks, if you're not going to be afraid to fail. There are so many students out there that will be entrepreneurs, and they will be our next generation of game changers.
Keith, thank you for having us. For Minds on the Markets, I'm Steve Kussin.